Welcome to the International College Options Virtual College Fair. We're so excited to have you here with us today. We have some fantastic schools presenting. My name is Christopher and I will be your facilitator for this session. Before we get started with our school presentations, just a few quick housekeeping items to go over. The first is that your camera and microphone are off, so the panelists will not be able to see or hear you. And we do encourage you to ask questions to any of the panelists at any time utilizing the Q&A feature. And also just a reminder to attend the breakout sessions after these formal college presentations. And a recording of this session will be available at the strivescan.com/ICO website. But to kick us off this evening, we're going to go ahead and hear from a representative from the International College Options, Colin.
Thank you, Christopher, and welcome all to our first International College Options Virtual Fair. Thank you so much all for attending. So my name is Colin Johnson. I'm one of the directors here at International College Options. You might notice a slight accent, but I am in fact based in Oregon. So we started around 8 years ago to educate high school students, counsellors, families about opportunities to study abroad. Something I actually did in this country. So we typically would do that across 3 or 4 different cities every year. However, you will note we are currently online due to the pandemic. So we're incredibly grateful for all of you to participate virtually and to our 76 institutions across 18 countries who are participating this year. You're going to hear from institutions in the session for about 6 minutes each, but there are other sessions involved or going on at the moment. You will be able to download and view those videos elsewhere. So if you think after the end of this, you're like, oh, that young guy, Jason, he had some good things from the University of Stirling, but I can't remember what he said, you can then review them later on. StrivesCan will send you details from that. A few other things, we do have a PDF booklet with all of our participating colleges, and at the end of this 1 hour session, you will have the opportunity to talk one-to-one to the institutions who are participating tonight. And I'm going to put a link to both of those documents in the chat right now. So please do ask as many questions as you can. These guys are paid to answer all your questions, and there is no such thing as a stupid question. Enjoy the presentations, guys.
Thank you very much, Colin. And up first, we're going to hear from the University of Toronto.
Wonderful, thank you. I think we are all set, so I'm just going to dive in. My name is Emily, and I am the Manager of International Student Recruitment here at the University of Toronto. I am also a very proud U of T alum, and I work with a lot of students from the US. I'm also originally from the US and was an international student at U of T. So any questions about any of that, I am happy to talk about. As you might know, U of T is a network of unique communities and really located in the heart of a dynamic, really diverse region. Personally, I think there's no better place to be. It's why I made this region my home. And we're just going to take a few minutes to explore how our students can mix and match programs to build really unique degrees and go over a few admission fundamentals as well. University of Toronto is Canada's top-ranked university and Canada's #1 university for research and discovery. We're consistently ranked in the world's top 20 year after year, in part because our campuses really do attract the best and brightest from all over the world. A lot of people know that insulin was first discovered at U of T, but I think a few lesser known discoveries are things like stem cell research beginning here. We're home to the world's first nerve transplant and the world's first electronic pacemaker. These are just a few of U of T's many contributions. We've also produced Oscar winners, Olympic champions, prime ministers, Nobel laureates, and best-selling authors. This legacy of innovation is really driven by the connections that we have with each other and with our neighborhoods and communities all across the Greater Toronto Area. The BBC once ranked Toronto as the world's most diverse city. There's certainly lots of contenders on that list, but we're happy to be on it. In fact, about half of the population of Toronto was born outside of Canada and speaks languages other than English. And I actually count in that. The city is safe, clean, delicious, and really does have something for everyone. I think that's one of the wonderful things about being in a big city and having a chance to study in a big city. Now, U of T is actually older than the city of Toronto, and this means that all of this wonderful diversity has grown up around us. In fact, U of T was founded even before the country of Canada in 1827, but other communities have called these lands home for far, far longer, and we wish to acknowledge the land on which the University of Toronto operates. For thousands of years, it has been the traditional land of the Huron-Wendat, the Seneca, and the Mississaugas of the Credit. Today, this meeting place is still home to many Indigenous people from across Turtle Island, and we're grateful to have the opportunity to work on this land. Personally, as an immigrant to Canada and a settler on this land, I'm incredibly grateful to have had the opportunity to study and continue to live and work in this region. Now, this region and land where we're located, so centrally in Southern Ontario, has really helped us to grow and expand to 3 campuses, all within about an hour of each other, and all offering the same top quality education. When you graduate, you'll earn the same U of T degree. The campus you choose really makes no difference, but I want to give you a little bit of insight to each of the 3 campuses. To the west, you'll find U of T Mississauga, which is about a half an hour from downtown Toronto. It's a mid-sized campus with about 16,000 students and located on 225 acres of really beautiful green space. Has really modern architecture. It's a very newly built campus and has some unique programs in the art sciences and some unique joint programs with Sheridan College. Setting itself apart from Mississauga is U of T St. George, which is our founding campus and really located right at the heart of downtown Toronto, with about 35,000 undergraduate students. Here you'll find a mix of Gothic buildings, brand new glass and steel towers, and we're home to 5 undergraduate faculties in architecture and visual studies, engineering, kinesiology, music, and arts and science, with our 7 undergraduate colleges as a part of that faculty as well. Now, moving to the east end of Toronto, you will find U of T Scarborough. Again, about a half an hour east of the downtown core. And similar to Mississauga, it's a mid-sized campus with about 15,000 students located on about 300 acres of parkland in the Highland Creek Valley. So in addition to art, science, and business programs, U of T Scarborough is our co-op campus. So it's a really great place for students who learn best by doing. Now, regardless of which campus or community that you're a part of, it's really vital to us that every U of T student has not just that home base, but also a team to support you and to cheer you on. Each of our campuses is home to a wide range of student supports, and our students take full advantage of these services, so much so that 91% of our first year students continue into second year. Now, our students tend to thrive because they really are in charge of their own futures. When you start your degree at U of T, you can mix and match programs, certificates, and co-curriculars to build an experience that really captures your unique passions and personality. We offer hundreds of programs and thousands of courses, and students can personalize their degree by combining majors, minors, specialists, and certificates across different fields. We're all about choice, and while certain specialized programs may be unique to a particular campus, like forensic science at Mississauga or journalism at Scarborough, many of our programs are offered on all 3 campuses. So you really can choose the setting that you prefer as well. Now, all of that flexibility in tailoring your degree continues into your extracurricular and co-curricular opportunities as well. You can gain paid work experience through various co-op and research opportunities. We also have partner institutions where you can go on exchange, and about 1,000 different clubs and 44 varsity level sports teams. So lots of fun things to get involved with as well. I'm going to very briefly touch on a little bit about how we can get you here and the application requirements, things like that. As you'll see on screen, we have adopted test optional admission for 2022. If you're looking for 2023, check back with me in the spring and we should have some updates. And we automatically consider every student for scholarships as a part of the application process. I'm going to wrap up there, but I will put my email address in the chat. Thank you, everyone. I hope this was helpful.
Thank you very much, University of Toronto. Up next, we will hear from the University of Stirling.
Great. Hi, everybody. Thanks so much for giving up a bit of your time today to come coming out for a bit. My name is Jason Bai. I'm the International Recruitment Manager for the University of Stirling. And if you can't tell, I don't have a lovely accent like we heard from Colin a little bit earlier. This accent is all Baltimore, so I am an imposter. I am an imposter. However, I am based in Stirling. Having moved from Washington, D.C. not too long ago. So I'm happy to give you a bit of an intro, first-handers experience or guide into Stirling. And if you hear something that you do like, if something catches your fancy, there will be a QR code at the bottom of every screen. So simply scan that, pop your details in, and then we can keep the combo going. Some quick facts about the University of Stirling. We are ranked top 30 in the UK by the Guardian University Guide in 2021. We're quite proud of that. We are also ranked as the Good University Guide Sports University of the Year. We have quite a lot of elite sports, so we're a great choice for any interested competitive athletes to do alongside with your degree. We have a 95% students, 95% employability rate, and we're in the top 20 UK schools for student satisfaction. So about 14,000 students, most of that is undergrad, so just over 10,000 undergrad, a couple of postgrads, but you'll be focusing on the undergrad. So you've got a nice little community of 120 nationalities. There will certainly be other North Americans on campus, but it's not going to be a lot to where you'll be in a US bubble while you're in Scotland. But there's enough of you around to where you can get a taste of home if you need to have a day to watch Netflix and eat Cheetos and cry a little bit. If you've never heard of Stirling, I won't hold it against you. You may have heard of other bigger cities like Edinburgh, which is the capital. You probably should have heard of Edinburgh, or Glasgow, which is the largest city in Scotland. Stirling is actually halfway between both of them. So it takes about 40 minutes to get to Edinburgh on the train. It takes about 35 minutes to get to Glasgow. I just did it this weekend. It cost £8 to get to Edinburgh and about 40 minutes. So with a quick train ride away from Central Station in Stirling, you're either in Edinburgh or Glasgow going to see a show, going to see a gig, but you've got a smaller city setting in order to kind of plant your feet in a new country, which I think is a nice pace to set for yourself. Sometimes a big city can tend to swallow you up a little bit. So Stirling is a place where it's a city where things are still going on. It's roughly 75,000 people, so a modest sized city, but there's still things going on, great student life for you to get a part of. And then if you want something a little bit bigger, like going to see a big show, when shows can start up again, then you can pop over to Glasgow or Edinburgh. The campus, you'll see, looks a little bit like a US campus almost. We were founded in 1967, so a very new campus, very new university for Scotland. However, it's pretty much a self-contained campus. So you have the student village over here to the left with a lock in the middle, Scots word for lake, obviously. And then there's a connecting path over to your teaching buildings, as well as the McRobert Arts Center with a theater involved. If you've seen Outlander, you've seen campus without even knowing it. So when Brianna is viewing universities in the UK, seeing all the student protests, that was shot over in Stirling Student Union. We also, in the McRobert Arts Center, we have our own film cinema, and that's where the film Braveheart was filmed for the first time way back when. Mel Gibson sat in the theater and screamed Braveheart. A lot of things named William Wallace in the city, and we have the William Wallace Monument just on the other side of campus, which is a big tourist attraction. So we have our sports facilities down on the other side of the lake down here. So you've got a really lovely setting with which to do all your studies. We've got 5 different faculties, so arts and humanities, health sciences and sport, natural sciences, social sciences, and the Stirling Management School, which kind of gives you an A to Z list of potential programs for you to do. As far as entry requirements, we are test optional. We are looking for a 3.0 unweighted GPA. And if you have been able to have access to submit test scores, we will be looking for only one of the following, as well as a high school diploma. So the 26 ACT, a 1200 on the SAT, or 2 AP tests with at least a 3 in relevant subjects to the degree that you're applying to study. We will also look for an academic reference, and a personal statement will be required. So as far as the application process, you have a couple of options. We are on the Common App, so if any of you are applying to US universities, you will see Stirling listed there amongst your US options. The other option is to use basically the UK's version of the Common App, which is UCAS. However, you cannot apply using both systems at the same time. Please choose one or the other. If you have one option in the UK that's a good fit for you and the rest of your options are US options or other countries in the world, the Common App is perfect for you. If you have multiple UK options, please use UCAS. UCAS helps centralize all your communication, so it just makes it a little bit easier. And as far as Scotland is concerned, it's a 4-year degree structure, very similar to what you'd expect in the US. It's flexibility, so you can change your mind without the Common Core requirements like the US system has. So we do have scholarships, undergraduate scholarships. It's a £2,000 tuition fee waiver per year, and that's renewable for all 4 years once you're there, as well as sports scholarships. You'll see that tuition is typically much cheaper, depending on the state where you're from, much cheaper than typically studying out of state for sure. So roughly around $21,520 for classroom-based programs, a little bit more expensive for science programs. And Stirling is a very cheap place for students to live as well. And then you have the option to live on campus. We don't share rooms. All right, so I hope that kind of sparked your interest in Stirling in Scotland. Like I said, get in touch and I am happy to give you a chat a little bit later. See you guys.
Thank you very much, University of Stirling. Up next, we'll move to University of Southampton. And just a quick reminder to all of our attendees, please do feel free to send through any questions you may have for any of the panelists via the Q&A feature.
Thank you so much. Hello, everybody. My name is Crockett Sewell, and I work for the University of Southampton. Let me see if I can share my screen with you guys and share a little bit more about what you could find at the University of Southampton. As I said, my name is Crockett. You can find my email here and our website to learn a little bit more about what international students might need to come to Southampton. I will go through some more of that information, but to start off, just a little bit more about our city and the university. Southampton is a city of about 250,000 people. So we're in southern England. I'll show you on a map in a little bit on the southern coast, but we are luckily one of the greenest cities in the UK and one of the sunniest. With 26,000 students on campus, you're going to be at a rather large campus, and 30% of those students are going to be from around the world. So every class you're in, every group you join, you're going to be meeting people from every corner of the globe. And, while there are going to be a lot of other students from North America, again, you're not going to be kind of only around those students, and you'll meet people from everywhere. As I mentioned, we're on the very southern coast of England, a coastal town, but again, still a city with a lot of different options. We're just about an hour and 20 minutes from London. So you're going to have a really accessible way to get to Southampton, whether you're flying through London or even our own international airport. So whether you want to get to other parts of Europe, back to North America, it's going to be easy enough to get around. And when you get to campus, you're going to get a free bus pass that will take you all around the city. That is our main form of public transportation in Southampton, and it's really all you need to get around and see everywhere. So a little bit more about the university itself. We have been around for about 159 years. So we have a well-established history in the Southampton area, and luckily we have some really great academic programs. We are top 15 in the UK and 77th in the world. So with the research opportunities you're going to have and just the different opportunities in general, whether you're looking for internships or different ways to get involved, you're going to have a lot of different options. And as I mentioned, those 30% of students that are from around the world are representing 135 countries, and that equates out to about 6,500 students. So if you're thinking about different programs that you may want to look at in different courses, we do have 5 different faculties. Within these different faculties, you're going to have a lot of options and a lot of different comprehensive options to consider. So whether you're looking at something like film or art, all the way over to ocean and earth science, business, education, law, and even into the world of engineering and physical sciences, or even if you're looking to go into medicine, you're going to have a lot of different options with us. So if you have additional questions and are thinking about, oh, that sounds like it may be interesting, or I wonder if they have this specific program, please just reach out to me and let me know, and we can see if we have that specific program for you. This is just a little bit of another peek at the city of Southampton. As you see, we're right there on the water. And here you can see that we have a few different campuses. Our Highfield campus is our main campus, so it's going to be a little bit more similar to what you would get in the US. Sometimes a lot of students will choose to live right there on our main campus, but maybe if you are an oceanography student, you're going to live down right on the water. Or if you're a engineering student, you're going to probably want to live right beside our Boulderwood Innovation Campus. That is home to all of our engineering programs. But with the different options and with our different campuses across the city, you're going to have a lot of great options to live in. One of the best parts about our research and the opportunities you might get at Southampton is you're going to find a lot of different ways where you can make a difference, whether you're trying to beat breast cancer, learn about new drone technologies, fighting cybercrime, or even making the internet faster. All of our different programs are really going to have great research opportunities and great practical opportunities throughout your entire 3 years. And in the UK, or not all of the UK, Scotland is a little bit different, but in England and Wales, you're going to be looking at 3-year undergraduate degrees. So when you apply to one of our programs, we are having you apply direct entry. So if you get accepted, you're going to be directly accepted to the program you have chosen. And you're going to get 3 full years of a deep dive into whatever amazing subject area you've chosen to pursue. As I was talking about a little bit earlier, we are going to guarantee accommodation for all international students. And luckily, you have quite a few options across the city. So like I said, if you want to live beside our main campus, you're going to have an option there. Or if you want to be closer to the city center, you're going to have a really great opportunity to live in the middle of everything. So it really just depends on what type of opportunity you're wanting to look for and what type of student life you're going to want to have. Here's just a little bit further of a look into what city life and what student life is going to be if you are a student at Southampton, whether you're going to a soccer game, hanging out on the bay, or just shopping and hanging around with your friends. You're going to have a lot of different options to live as full of a student life as you can imagine. Again, here is my information. I will put it in the chat and our main website for international students. So if you do have additional questions, please do let me know. And if you want to talk a little bit more, I'd be more than happy for you to join my room afterwards. And I will hand it back over to Christopher.
Thank you very much, University of Southampton. Up next, we'll hear from the University of Manchester.
Fantastic. Okay, hopefully everyone can see my screen. So my name is Anuli. I'm an international officer and I represent Britain's largest single site university, which is the University of Manchester, established in 1824. So we are located in Northwest England. Manchester is more or less in the very middle of the UK. So it's halfway to London in the south and halfway to Scotland, which is north of us. And we are in close proximity to Peak District, and you can find beautiful countryside all in reach. So about Manchester, we have a proud history of innovation and world's firsts, which I'm going to point out here. In 1917, Nobel Prize winner Ernest Rutherford first split the atom. In 1948, we have Kilburn and Williams, who built the world's first stored program computer called Baby. And then in 1957, we have Lovell, who built the world's largest steerable radio telescope. So if you've ever been to Manchester, you might know that Jodrell Bank is one of the popular tourist spots that people want to visit. And so a little bit about Manchester. We are part of the UK's Russell Group. If you're not familiar with the Russell Group, it's akin to the US's version of the Ivy Leagues. It's not a direct translation, but some people understand it to be something similar to the Ivy Leagues. It identifies 24 world-class research-intensive universities. Manchester is one of them. And you'll find that a lot of research that comes out of these institutions have a significant global impact. So at Manchester, we have a unique vision, and we're proud to boast 25 Nobel laureates amongst our staff and students. And we do have 2 currently teaching on campus in the physics and in the math department. And we've been a top UK university for 2 years running for social and environmental impact. And so I'm sure if you're watching the news, you know how important that is right about now. Some rankings, if that's important to you. We are ranked 27th in the world according to QS World Rankings. We're 6th in the UK and 8th in Europe, not to mention our individual programs that are also highly ranked. And 83% of our research is judged to be world leading or internationally excellent. Again, that's being part of the Russell Group, a statistic that you should expect. And we've been the first choice for graduate employers in the UK. So we have several students from various departments or various programs going off and joining global companies. So some of these regular recruiters include companies that I'm sure you've all heard of, including Jaguar and Apple, Deloitte, PwC, and KPMG, IBM, BBC, all the acronyms I can throw at you, AstraZeneca. They're just going off and joining these companies. So looking at some popular courses, we have our 3 faculties. You can think of it as 3 mini schools in one big school. We have our Faculty of Science and Engineering, our Faculty of Biology, Medicine, and Health, and then our Faculty of Humanities. So these are 3 faculties with over 300 undergraduate programs, but these are some of the more popular courses, especially for North American students. So you may already know that law and medicine are both undergraduate programs in the UK. Law is quite popular, as well as sociology and criminology. Physics and math, as I mentioned, Ernest Rutherford. Physics is a very important department for us. Computer science and AI. As I mentioned, the first program stored computer, baby. Politics and international relations. Manchester has really good statistics with students joining foreign service. So think ambassadors or World Health Organization, such companies. And creative writing, which is always a fun one. So we are home to over 40,000 students from 160 nationalities. We are a large institution. And again, we are a single site institution. So all of our students are on one big campus. Over 10,000 of our international students are on campus as well. So we are one of the most international and diverse universities in the UK. And the university and the city itself are some of the more affordable places for students seeking a degree in the UK. Manchester, the city, is the 2nd largest city in the UK after London. So if you're looking for that manageable city, a walking city, not quite London, Manchester is a good option after that. So living costs and tuition together, once you factor in all that, give or take, could be anywhere from $40,000 a year. And the most expensive, I should say, would be the School of Medicine, but that works a little bit different. But about 40,000 sounds about right. So if you're thinking about your career, which you might be when you're looking at universities, there are some amazing options coming out of University of Manchester once you graduate. But there's also opportunities while you're a student. So most of our degrees will give you the option to integrate a year abroad. You'll hear this referred to as year in industry, something like that. Or it's a graduate level internship that is relevant to your degree. So if you are a marketing student, you can have a year in industry where you're working a marketing job. So you're studying for some years and then you take a break and then you actually get to work a full-time job doing marketing work. And then that's a good first step to see if you're in the right field or if you enjoy it or where you want to make a shift. You can also do summer internships, which are really popular because you're doing a full-time internship at that point. You're not doing it with school. You can volunteer, you can do outreach programs. There's a lot of opportunities for you, even a part-time job, if that's of interest to you as well. Manchester's there to help you find, your career path with career services, giving you one-to-one appointments and assisting you with the different opportunities that are available at Manchester. A quick look at our campus. I do encourage students to look at the campus online. You can do a virtual tour. These are just some pictures, but they don't really sell the campus. You have to kind of see it for yourself. But again, the virtual tour will be kind of helpful. And so last, we do have over 500,000 alumni in 190 countries doing amazing work. And we look forward to new students joining that community. I hope to talk to you more about this in the breakout room, but if you do have any questions, I'll put my email also in the chat box, and you can reach out to me then as well. Thank you.
Thank you very much, University of Manchester. Before we head to our final presentation, just a little housekeeping item. Attendees, please do feel free to keep the Q&A questions coming. We'll have a little bit of time left over at the end for you to continue asking questions. But if you do have them, don't feel like you need to hold them. But our final presentation will come from the University of Groningen.
Yes, thank you all for your time and you're interested in our universities. We're talking about funny accents. Mine is Dutch, so I'm from the Netherlands. It's currently 1:30 a.m. here, and I have to talk a bit silently because my wife is already sleeping. I'm gonna try to share my screen and try to be really smooth about it. Share screen, here we go. So my university is located in the Netherlands, as I said before. Oh no, I'm sharing. See, that's where I go, where I try to be smooth. My name is Maarten Dikhoff. I work for the University of Groningen. My email address you can find in this slide. We are a university in the north of the Netherlands. We're founded in 1614, which makes us the second oldest university in the Netherlands. And what you see here is a lot of bicycles and our academy building, which funnily enough is only 150 years old-ish, because the previous one burned down. That's a first fun fact. We are located 2 hours from Amsterdam, which Amsterdam is approximately 8-hour flight from New York City. Then you take a train to Groningen, which is around a 2-hour train ride. But then again, Holland is tiny, so basically everywhere in Holland is a 2-hour train ride from Amsterdam. We are located at the gate of Europe. So if you want to travel Europe during your studies, it's fairly easy to get around. We have a good train system. For example, Hamburg is 3 hours away. Berlin is 6 hours away by train. Paris is around 6 hours away from Groningen as well. So excellent opportunities to travel around Europe when you are studying in the Netherlands. Well, why study in the Netherlands? We have a high world-class education. Most of the universities teach in English. And what is also different from other countries is that our system is not very hierarchical. So professors really like to have debates with their students and also be doubted by their students and be questioned by their students and really engage in debates. We're a very multilingual international environment. You don't have to worry about the language because most of the Dutch people speak English, although it's with a funny accent, but they're understandable. I've had students in my city living here for 5 years and still don't speak Dutch, and they're still surviving fine. So that's not an issue. So this is our university. As you can see, these are the bicycles that are in front of every university building. Basically, 70% of our transportation in our city is done by bicycle. That's because the city center has been closed off for cars. So it also makes us one of the top 5 bicycle cities in Europe. And also the air quality is quite clean because we don't have cars in the city center. Anywhere in the city, you can travel around within 20 minutes with a bicycle. We have over 150 English taught degree programs, the widest range of English taught courses in the Netherlands, and over 36,000 students, of which 25% approximately is international students from over 120 different countries. Some rankings, Shanghai ranking, we are number 64, Times Higher Education ranking, we're number 80, and in the QS ranking, we're ranked 128. Tuition fee is approximately 10,000 to 18,500 euros per year. It's more usually around it depends a bit on the program, but around the 14,000 euro range, which is approximately $16,000 per year. However, if you have a European passport or European nationality, then the tuition fee is around 2,000 euros per year. This is excluding housing because we are quite an old university. So 400 years ago, they didn't think of building a dorm or a real central campus for our university. So our university is really interwoven with the whole city. So therefore housing is mostly private market. which is a thing which I will get back to in a second, because it's quite a challenge to find housing as an international student. But for like the housing cost, that will be your biggest cost per month, which will be around 450 euros. So that's around $600 a month for a room with electricity and all the other amenities, I think it's called. To apply, you apply through a central service, which is called Stirling, which is the national registration system. I can explain about it later in our breakout room. Some of the programs we offer, Faculty of Arts, we have American Studies, for example, we have History, International Relations, we offer a psychology program, International Business, the ones where you see that there are 260 places and 600 places. That means that there is a numerous fixes on it, so that's a limited amount of seats, which basically means you have to jump through some extra hoops to apply. But in general, to apply to our programs, if you have an AP or 3 APs, then you are admissible to our program. And I see Christopher already coming back, so I'm very gently going to rush through. Housing in Groningen is one of the main concerns you're going to have. I can also explain a bit more about that in the breakout room. Like I said, prices range between 350, 650 a month. And that's bicycles. You can get a second-hand bicycle for around 90 euros. Just make sure you get 2 locks so that you can always lock it. And because bicycle theft is the biggest crime in our city. And we have some social media shown here. If you have any questions, you can always write an email to perspectives@rug.nl or send us a WhatsApp at the number you see there. And that was it for me. So I'll go back to Colin.
Thank you very much, Groningen. Thank you to all of our great panelists. We do have time remaining, so if I could ask our panelists to turn their videos back on, we can do a round or 2 of Q&As here ourselves. So the first question I'd have is, students get a lot of advice about doing the college search process in the US. So what's one piece of advice you have for students going through the college search process, looking at schools outside of the US? Why don't we go in that same order?
Sure.
Starting with Toronto, yeah.
Thanks, Christopher. I think my advice is probably the same, although maybe that's we're the same because we're so close to the US and also I'm American. I think talk to students, talk to current students wherever you're thinking about going. They're so helpful. They have much more similar experience. Even though I'm an alum, I graduated in 2008. That was ages ago. The student experience is different. And I think hearing from students firsthand is one of the most helpful things you can do.
Yeah, I'd say this is such a special time that you're about to enter. As far as traveling is concerned, you're not weighted down. Life has a way of kind of happening to all of us. And this is a time where you only really need to look after yourself. So I would encourage everybody to take that opportunity to look at as many study abroad options, even if doing a full degree abroad is not going to be a possibility for you, depending on money or depending on other circumstances. You can still go for a short-term study abroad, be it a semester, be it a January term, be it a short term over the summer. Go as far away as possible in this really special time where you get to only care about yourself.
I think one of the biggest things is really utilizing kind of representatives like us, especially if we may be located in country. I forgot to mention this, but I am based in the US, even though Southampton is in England. I'm in Charlotte, North Carolina, and I'm always open to chatting, having a conversation, virtual or even in person sometimes, depending on where I get to travel. So, don't be afraid to reach out to us. That's what we love, and that's why we're doing this job, so we can talk to you and help you through this process, no matter if you are even a freshman. We're here throughout the entire process and are going to try and be the best resource we can for you.
There's a lot of information out there at a lot of different websites. I will always say, no matter what information you gather, always defer to the university website because that's where you'll find the most up-to-date information.
Yeah, and for me, I would say that it's also sort of because in my case or in our case, I think it's so different to apply to my university than you're used to in the US. So that means that you have to sort of be assertive in your application. So don't assume that when you send something in that everything is okay, but follow up and make sure that you stay in contact with the university to make sure that everything you do is okay and it arrived at the admissions office. So basically don't take no for an answer or if no news is good news, that's not the case. Always follow up on your own application because it's so different from what you're used to.
Nice. And maybe last question, give you the option of which question you want to answer. Either what's one thing you want students to remember about your schools from your presentations, or what's one myth you'd like to dispel about doing a degree or studying outside of the US? Go back in that same order.
Sure. I have a quick and easy one. For U of T, the thing I would hope you would remember is flexibility, really ability to mix and match programs and experiences. That's what I'd leave you with.
Yeah, I think part of the charm of the University of Stirling is the location. So Stirling is known as the gateway to the Highlands. So on one half of the city, you have the foothills of the Highland Mountains. On the other half of the city, you have the rolling lowlands, separated by a river that runs through the city. So you really can go do your study in the foothills of the castle while you're looking at what looks like Lord of the Rings backdrop. So just remember how beautiful Scotland can be.
So this kind of goes for all of us, but don't shy away from thinking and even considering about doing an international degree because you think it may not transfer back to your home country. I think that's one of the benefits of probably all of our universities were world renowned and world recognized. So don't think, you're going to be hindered if you want to go back to the US or back to wherever your home country is and be able to work in, most industries that you would choose from. Ask us again, specifically those questions if there are a lot of concerns, but don't ever let that be a hindrance because you're going to have a really great degree no matter which of us you go to.
This might go for several of us on this call, but when people think about studying in the UK, they automatically think London. And just like someone saying the US and thinking New York City, there's so many other places in the US that are interesting and different. It's the same for the UK. London is not the only game in town. So think outside the box and explore other areas of England because it really is a beautiful place to study.
Yeah, and to follow up on that, in other countries, people also speak English. So if you come to the Netherlands, you will also be able to talk with people in English. And specifically for my university, we are 25% of our city consists of students. We're a small city of 200,000 citizens. And we're the only city in the Netherlands where the bars don't have closing times. So like the student experience in my city, besides having to study really hard, is one of the best you can have outside of your home bubble, I would say.
Great, thank you. Colin, you're welcome to answer one of those questions if you would like to.
I certainly can. So from certainly the International College Options perspective, we're just really glad that you guys are here and seen some great questions in the Q&A. Excuse me, I have a very upset 14-pound border terrier beside me. So Gary would say hi. He, oh, sorry, bud. Yeah, studying abroad, and I think it was Jason that mentioned it, even if you do not do your degree abroad, get out there, do a semester, do a J term, do a summer. That would be what I would say to take away from this. And again, I think maybe Emily, talk to students, talk to the kids that are there, talk to recent alumni. Emily, that was painful when you said you graduated in 2008, and that was a long time ago, because because that's when I graduated. But I agree. You know, these guys are fantastic. Please, please, please use these guys as a resource. But they will also be able to put you in touch with current and new alumni and current students, sorry, and they will really tell you the truth about school. Yeah. Anyway, thank you all, and please do remember that our colleagues will be around, not just the people in this room, but in all other sessions to talk one-to-one online as well.
Great. Thank you very much, Colin, and thank you again to all of our panelists, and certainly thank you to all of our attendees for joining us this afternoon or evening, depending on where you are. Before we do wrap it up and you move off to your breakout sessions, just a few last housekeeping items. The first is that when you close this window, you will receive a very quick 5-question survey that we ask that you complete. And again, please do take advantage of those breakout sessions to continue these conversations. And a recording of this session will be available at the stridescan.com/ICO website. But again, thank you to everybody and enjoy the rest of your evening. Have a great night.